Well, and I'll speak to a couple of features of the chair that are part and parcel of what you're talking about. Number one is the shoulder airbags, which I believe Inada pioneered with the Doctor's Choice 3H here,
That's right.
where the shoulder airbags don't just inflate to the outside of the shoulders to pin your upper body in. It actually inflates to the front of your shoulders and moves the shoulders posteriorly to to reverse that forward head carriage. And I love that feature about this chair. And that is the one thing that I notice probably the most during the stretch program. And the other thing about the stretching program on this chair, or the posture correction program, is it's the first chair I've ever seen that actually, okay, so when all chairs have a stretch program where the chair will recline and the ottoman will drop with airbags grabbing your feet, and in this case airbags grabbing your shoulders to stretch you that way. But it's the first chair that I've seen that actually comes up and puts you in a flexed position while also pulling your shoulders back and while also having the rollers grind you forward, working on the posture in the flex position. I've never seen that in a chair before, and I love that about this chair because it doesn't just arch your back and stretch that way into extension. It brings you into flexion, and that is something we don't see in chairs. And if
Well,
you want to feel the
let's
intensity of
yeah.
posture correction, do it seated with the airbags pulling you back. It's pretty phenomenal.
So let's be very clear. It puts you into hip flexion while continuing to provide back extension,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So the flexion you're describing is actually happening at the hip. And what's interesting about that is, and it's maybe tough for, again, people listening or watching to picture this, your legs are out in front of you and your back is raised up.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the way the chair holds your shoulders back and where the rollers are located behind your back, it forces you to arch your back, so you get that nice back extension in your back,
Mm-hmm.
while it flexes you at the hips, which actually ends up, if people are tight, stretching their hamstrings.
Yeah.
And stretching hamstrings is, pliable, healthy hamstrings are critical to maintaining, as you know from practicing years and years as a chiropractor, critical to maintaining a proper lumbar curve. So this chair even addresses a hamstring stretch, which is related to posture too. And in that way, it's unique in the industry.
Yeah, very much so. I also found the feel of the chair very comfortable, like it was more cushy or softer, or I don't know how to describe it, but it was a very comfortable chair to sit in.
I think it's slightly smaller than Dreamwave. And so when you get in it, there's a little bit more sort of, the armrests are a little bit closer into you. And it is a very comfortable chair to sit in.
The material, yeah, material feels a little bit more uh, loose and fluffy. I don't know how to describe it, but it's really a comfortable chair to sit in. I enjoy sitting in it. Now, also, I might mention on that chair, which is unique to it, or unique to most chairs that we carry, is that this chair has palm and sole heat, as opposed to lumbar heat or back butt heat. So that's kind of a unique feature. And I know that's kind of designed to imitate the stone massage, the hot stone massage. Do you want to speak to that at all?
Um, it's a People might be thinking, well, why would you heat those parts of the body? How does this even matter? And I guess the simplest picture that I can paint is when we show new people that have never experienced the flex chair, and take them through a 15-minute or a 30-minute demonstration of the flex, they immediately notice that their palms are warmed and their soles are warmed. And people love it. They find it extraordinarily relaxing. There are a huge number, I mean, the Japanese understand this very, very well, huge number of nerve endings in the hands and in the feet.
Yeah.
And that's what that heat is really addressing. It is noticeable. It is relaxing in really, really surprising ways. It's
Yeah.
a feature that people that try the chair love about the Flex.
Well, and people might say, well, I don't have any back heat. I want back heat. Well, one of the interesting programs you've got in this chair is the warm-up program. And so the idea of heat is to basically loosen up the muscle tissue to make the massage a little bit more effective. And the warm-up programs that you have a warm-up and a cool-down program on this chair, which is another thing I don't see, I can't even remember seeing on another chair. But I think that's the purpose of those programs, is to kind of get blood flow into the areas of the spine spine, the musculature of the spine before we actually start, digging in with the rollers for a regular program. And I kind of like that about it as well.
Yep. I would also add that many people, if they experience the Flex and are not told that it does not have heat, perceive on the back, I should say, perceive that it has heat on the back.
Yeah.
And that's a very, that sort of speaks to the efficacy of the massage itself.
Yeah.
If a massage is working well, it's bringing blood to the muscle tissue of the area, it's bringing blood to the surface of the skin. Mm-hmm. With that stimulation and additional blood flow, people perceive that heat is there. Yeah. When it's not there, because it's actually the body heat that's providing that sensation.
Yeah, and most massages will provide
yes.
heat to you over the course of the session,
right.
Whether it's affected by a heating pad or just by the motion of the rollers. I mean, if you take your shirt off after you've sat on a massage chair and you look in the mirror, you'll see red all the way up and down your back just because of the blood flow that's created by the rollers. So it actually creates its own heat.
Right.
Another thing I like about that chair is the one button maximum intensity adjustment. So rather than having to move, okay, I got to move the intensity up or down, and you can do that with this chair, of course, in the manual settings, but I like how you just push one button, maximum intensity, and you get maximum roller intensity, and you get maximum airbag intensity. I love the efficiency of that feature.
That's right. And I happen to like to use it that way. I don't know if you do, but that's the way I do it. I hit that button every time. Yeah.
But me too. I'm just lazy. I just like it easy. That's what I like. Anything else about the Flex that you want to talk about that we have not covered here in this conversation?
I think I just remind people that Flex is not a product through and through, just like the Dreamwave product is. It has this different intention and this different purpose in terms of our lineup of products. And that is, if you use the two chairs side by side, that is immediately apparent that the Dreamwave experience is fundamentally different from the Flex 3S experience. Yeah. And I guess I would say to people who do have back issues, who are hunched uncomfortably and unhealthily at a computer screen all day, or have very sedentary type work, that they really ought to give the Flex a try. And I think when they do that, they'll discover how the Flex 3S can correct for all that stuff that they're doing bad during the rest of the day.
Right.
I will tell you one thing: the Flex is $6,499, and the Dreamwave is $8,499. So there's some savings when somebody purchases the Flex, less expensive chair. And I would also add that as of December 1st of this year, of 2014, the Flex price goes from $64.99 to $67.99.
Yeah, I was actually just writing that down. I've got to talk about that on my blog this week, or my industry update.
There's another comparison between, if you're a big guy, you may have to go in the direction of Dreamwave, because the Dreamwave will accommodate people from 5 feet to 6'4" comfortably, and the Flex starts at the same place. A 5-foot person can use it, but we define the upper limit as 6'2", so slightly shorter top end user, if you will.
Well, and you look at the chair side by side, it is definitely a smaller chair. I mean, it's like I say, it looks like a mini me. Well, I like the Flex and I like the feel of it, and I think if people view it the way that you're describing it, as kind of a posture correction thing, as a stretch thing, as a way to kind of get the body moving in areas that are typically hunched over because of a sedentary lifestyle, yeah, I think the Flex is gonna resonate with those kinds of not those kinds of people, but those people that are involved in those kinds of daily activities. Yeah, I think it's going to be great. Yeah. Now, what have you got now? Okay, I want to talk about something. I guess I should have asked you about this ahead of time, but I'm going to just bring it up anyways because I get asked about this quite frequently. The Duet is a chair that's in Japan that is very popular to people here as far as what they see on the Inada Inada's Japanese website, and I get people asking about it all the time. I saw that you have a kind of you have one on your showroom floor, but it's not for sitting on, it's for display. So it's got the materials pulled back, it's got a cover over the rollers, it shows what it's doing, but you have some reservations about that chair in other words, why is Inada not importing it? That's what I get asked all the time. When is that chair coming in? Why are they not importing it? And you had some very good reasons about it. One of them was its ability to well, a couple things you mentioned was number one, its ability to withstand someone wanting to sit in it that maybe has trouble getting up and out of a chair because of the way the ottoman is projected out. It makes it very difficult for people that may be a little unsteady on their feet, which a lot of people are. I mean, there's a lot of senior citizens that buy massage chairs. It would be a difficult chair for them to get in and out of. And also, you had mentioned something about the maybe the size of it. I can't remember, but and I hate to bug you about this because I know you get asked about it. I get asked about it, and we may as well just talk about the elephant in the room here. But could you talk a little bit about your thinking on the Duet and?
Yes, you've touched on two huge reasons why we don't have it in this country now. Number one is unless you're mobile and agile, it's not an easy chair to get in and out of.
Yeah.
So if you have joint issues, arthritis, if you're less mobile because you're overweight, if you're really just out of shape, if you do have a really bad back, that's why you want to buy a massage chair, it's a tough chair to get in and out of.
Yeah.
That's one big thing. The second thing is it really can't accommodate users comfortably. As you approach 6 feet, it already starts to get a little bit too small. And for the American market, there's an enormous part of the market that simply won't fit.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, so there's a really limited, between the mobility thing and the size thing, there's a limited marketplace for that chair here.
Yeah. And unless that changes from the manufacturer's side, it's not going to be, it's not something that's on the radar for you. And I try to tell people that, and I don't know if they believe me when I say it, but
yeah.
To hear it from the horse's mouth, I think will carry some weight.
Yeah, there are no plans to have Duet. We've talked to we've talked to you, we've talked to our dealers about it, explained the limitations of the chair, and I think particularly people, you do a lot of business online, particularly people that own stores, are very nervous about the issue of difficulty getting in and out of the chair.
Yeah. Well, it's that I've seen that for as long as I've been in this business, which is 10 years. It's a recurrent issue. Well, this is a chair I have trouble getting in and out of. How am I going to get in and out of this chair? And I saw the Duet. I saw how the ottoman is. It's you almost pretty much if you're not really agile and mobile, you kind of have to stand up at the end of the chair and fall back into the seat.
Yes. You have to be able to straddle the chair and squat slowly down in order to get into it properly.
Yeah, it's not an easy chair to maneuver with, and so I totally get where you're coming from. And when I saw it, I understood. Mm-hmm. And but I'm glad you addressed it. And I know it probably bugs you when people bring this up because it's like, geez, enough already. But it's good to hear it. Mm-hmm. Good to hear you talk about it. Now, in closing, man, Cliff, I appreciate it. We've gone on 50 minutes now, but I wanted to ask you, and I think I ask you about this every time. What are there any things that we need to not need, but are there any things that you want to talk about as far as the future of the industry goes, as far as the future of Inada chairs, anything that we haven't talked about that you want to talk about?
This year we were honored with the Inc. magazine's one of Inc. magazine's 5,000 fastest growing companies in the USA. We were delighted to receive
Congratulations.
that. Yeah. My expectation is that we're in that group again next year. I certainly hope we are. We're really focused on the same things we've been focused on here at Inada for many years, which is initial product quality and then really a very high level of consumer support after people buy the product. And I don't think, it bugs me that anybody in the industry would think otherwise, would take an approach that would be any different than ours, because I think when all is said and done, if you don't have those two things, great product quality and great after-sales support, it's really the consumer that's going to be left holding the bag.
Yeah.
We understand that our products are a premium price product. We are determined to provide the kind of value that people expect, a premium price for an Inada product.
Right.
As far as the rest of the industry goes, I think in general chairs are getting better out there. I think people are still continuing to chase us like crazy. There's no question that we have the biggest target painted on our back of any massage chair brand name that's out there. We'll continue to fight through service and product quality to maintain our place within the industry and to communicate to consumers, your customers, one at a time, that they made a really smart decision in choosing the Inada brand over other brands.
Well, I know that just last week we switched our email service provider for our business, and inadvertently an email went out saying that your new chair is on its way. I think it went over to over 1,000 emails by accident, and a lot of people emailed me back concerned, thinking that we were sending out another chair to them, and most of them said, you know, I got the Dream, because the Dreamwave is our top selling model. And they said, you know, I have my Dream. It works fine. I haven't had a problem with it. I don't need another chair. And I felt so embarrassed by this email, but I was kind of impressed by how many people emailed me back saying, yeah, I've got the Dreamwave already. I'm happy with it. I don't, unless there's a better chair in the market, I don't need another chair. Please don't send me another chair.
Right.
But there was kind of an inadvertent, backhanded compliment to the Dreamwave quality, that people were very happy with their chair. So I was happy to hear that.
That's nice to hear. We like to hear that too.
Yeah, we like hearing that.
Yeah.
Well, anything else, Cliff? Or I think we've pretty much covered everything here.
Covered a lot of territory. It's good to do this with you again.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's amazing how quickly time flies. I think we did this a year ago, May, so it's like a year and a half ago already, I think. But this is good information. I'm glad we got to talk about the chairs in a little bit more detail. And I know people will be interested to hear about the Dreamwave updates, hear about the Duet, and of course learn a little bit more about the Flex, because you're passionate about the way you describe it. And who better to pitch their chair than the president of the company here in the U.S. So I'm glad that they get to hear you talk about it, and I think that's wonderful.
I always enjoy talking about it.
Yeah,
So
I know you do. Well, it's good to visit with you, Cliff. Thank you so much, and I look forward to chatting again, and I hope we get to see each other again soon at a show, or if you're in town, or if I'm out there, I'd like to come visit. I love talking shop with you. The thing about being a massage chair guy in your own little store is that you're kind of an island unto yourself, and you don't, there's not a lot of people you can talk about the industry with, about the different chairs, about what's coming, what to look forward to, and I love that, and I wish we could do more of that. But so I look forward to visiting with you again. I kind of dig chatting with you. So thanks a lot.
Well, thank you. Talk to you soon.
Take care, Cliff. See ya.
Right.
Bye bye.
So long.